The dream of flight was very old. For centuries, people looked up at the sky. They watched birds soar with such ease. They wished they could have wings too. Many brave inventors and thinkers tried. They designed and built all sorts of strange machines. But the secret of human flight remained hidden. It was a difficult, seemingly impossible puzzle to solve. Two brothers from Ohio decided to try. Their names were Orville and Wilbur Wright. They were bicycle mechanics, not famous scientists. They approached the problem with great care. They studied how birds flew and controlled their movement. They built their own wind tunnel for tests. They tested many wing shapes and control systems. Their method was patient and very thorough. Then came the day, December 17, 1903. The place was Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. The wind was strong and cold that morning. The Wright Flyer, their machine, was finally ready. Orville Wright was at the controls for the first attempt. The engine started, the propellers turned, the machine moved forward, and then it lifted. It flew for 12 seconds, covering 120 feet. This short flight changed the world forever. It was not just a hop or a glide, this was powered flight. This was sustained flight, and most importantly, this was controlled flight. The Wright brothers had solved the puzzle. The world did not fully grasp it instantly, but the true age of aviation had begun that day. Several years passed after the Wrights' success. Aviation technology developed, but quite slowly. Airplanes were still seen as fragile and very dangerous. Flying was mostly for daring showmen, the daredevils, or it was for military observation purposes. It was certainly not considered for ordinary people. The idea of carrying passengers for business seemed distant. Most people thought it was far too risky. Then, in 1914, a new idea took shape in Florida. Two cities, St. Petersburg and Tampa, faced each other. They were separated by the waters of Tampa Bay. Travel between these two growing cities was slow. One had to take a steamboat, which took hours. Or one could travel by train, a very long route. A local businessman saw a better, faster way. He imagined flying passengers across the bay. Percival Fansler was the man with this vision. He organized the St. Petersburg-Tampa airboat line. It was a bold and innovative experiment for its time. The pilot for this new service was Tony Janis. He flew a small aircraft called a Benoist Reform, the flying boat. This plane was designed to take off from water. It was tiny, with room for the pilot and one passenger. The cabin was open to the wind and weather. The first historic flight took place on January 1st, 1914. A former mayor of St. Petersburg, Abram C. File, won an auction. He became the very first paying passenger. He paid $400 for the privilege, a large sum then. The flight across Tampa Bay took only 23 minutes. It was a remarkable success and made headlines. This was the world's first scheduled commercial airline service. It proved that air travel could be a real business. The Great War, World War I, changed aviation dramatically. From 1914 to 1918, airplanes became tools of war. They were used for scouting, bombing, and fighting. Aircraft design advanced very rapidly under pressure. Engines became more powerful and more reliable. Thousands of young men were trained as pilots. When the war ended, there was a large surplus. Many leftover airplanes and skilled pilots needed new roles. What could be done with all these planes and pilots? Some people saw a new opportunity taking shape. The first major use was for carrying mail. Airmail routes began to be established. This happened in both Europe and the United States. It was a crucial step forward for aviation. It showed that airplanes could provide regular, useful service. Governments often provided support and contracts for airmail. Soon, carrying passengers started to become a reality. It began slowly, with much caution and experiment. European countries were early leaders in this field. KLM in the Netherlands was founded in 1919. Deutsche Lufthansa in Germany formed in 1926. Imperial Airways started in Britain in 1924. These early airlines often used converted military bombers. Aircraft like the de Havilland DH-4 were adapted for passengers. In the United States, airline development was a bit slower, but the ambition and the need were certainly present. Many small, independent airlines started up. They often began by carrying mail, then added passengers. The Airmail Act of 1925, known as the Kelly Act, was vital. It allowed the post office to contract with private airlines. This provided a key source of revenue and encouraged growth. The foundation for a true American air travel network was being laid. Aircraft design continued to improve throughout the 1920s. Engineers were learning more about flight every day. They studied aerodynamics to make planes more efficient. Engines became more powerful and also more dependable. Aircraft structures grew stronger and lighter. Open cockpit biplanes were gradually replaced. New designs featured enclosed cabins for passengers. This made air travel more comfortable and felt safer. A very important aircraft of this era was the Fokker F.7. It was designed by the Dutch aviation pioneer Anthony Fokker. This airplane was a high-wing monoplane. It was known for its strong reliability. It was also quite versatile in its uses. The Fokker F.7 could carry several passengers in relative comfort. Many new airlines around the world chose to use it. It helped to make air travel seem more practical and appealing, but these early days of air travel were not easy. Flying still involved considerable risks for everyone. Navigation tools were very basic, often just a map and compass. Pilots flew by sight, looking for landmarks. Airports were often just simple grass fields. Weather forecasting was not very advanced. Bad weather could suddenly make a flight very dangerous. Yet the pioneers, pilots, and entrepreneurs persevered with courage. The achievements of those early years were monumental. The Wright brothers' first powered, controlled flight was the start. The first commercial air service in 1914 showed the potential. The growth of airlines during the 1920s built the industry. These developments, step by step, were absolutely fundamental. They laid the essential groundwork for the vast global air travel network, the one we rely on so much in the world today. The dawn of aviation was truly a time of bold vision and great bravery.